Hey everyone, this is Alex Milstein. I'm the editor-in-chief of Betting News Now, and this is Bet Ed Now, bite-sized bits of betting industry knowledge. Today, my guest is a man who needs little introduction. His name is Chris Taheny. He's the vice president of sales for DreamFit. Thanks so much for coming on the show today, Chris.
Alex, it's a pleasure to be with you on Bed Ed Now. It's always a pleasure to see you as well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Chris and I are just coming off of High Point Market, which was that a week ago now or 2 weeks?
It seems like a month ago, but
Yeah.
it really wasn't. It was like maybe less than 2 weeks ago. But it was fantastic to be back. Thank you very much for coming to see what we were up to there. And in general, it sounds like it was a much better High Point market than a lot of people were expecting. So that was great.
Absolutely. So, we're going to be talking about a really cool subject today that Chris is on a mission to educate the industry about, and that is including sheets in the sale. It sounds simple, but there's a lot going on with it. So, let's start with what is kind of the landscape right now when it comes to attachment rates of sheets to the sale of a mattress?
So that's an excellent question, Alex. The reason why it's an excellent question is because it's a very difficult question to answer. While there are anomaly retailers that do a very good job tracking their attachment rates, maybe that's where it stops. Maybe they're not so much tracking their average unit selling prices, which is also a very important statistic because at the end of the day, how it's tracked, if it ends up on a ticket, it might look like an attachment, but was any revenue collected for it? But the fact of the matter is, there's an awful lot of retailers in our business that are simply not tracking the category. It still remains very much an afterthought. It's not something that necessarily is correlated with the importance of their top line number, which obviously is always going to be their most important number, but the potential in the category, particularly where we're at now in the way that retail is shaping up to be, the upside in sheets is absolutely tremendous. And you're right, we are on a mission at DreamFit to play our part in our industry to really help the retailer capitalize on that tremendous opportunity.
Definitely. And that's kind of, been something that we've talked about since I started, betting news now about a year and a half ago. So I still think it's something the industry is in the middle of working on, but I do think it's almost like a paradigm shift for the entire industry in the same way that adjustable bases, which are also still, in the works as far as attachment rates, getting them up. So, I think it's an industry wide effort. But as I was talking to you a little bit before the show, I think it's interesting that a lot of, really great retailers out there who are store owners, they know exactly why they need to attach sheets. They know how, they know, there's no questions there. It's when it trickles down to the RSAs who, are not necessarily sleep experts yet, and they need to be the ones getting the message across. So how can a retailer help their RSA understand the value and build that into the sale?
Fundamentally, I would say, Alex, talk about it. Don't let it slide. Track the categories. I'm not suggesting that it needs to consume any more time than the category needs to, but simply just setting some, it's always good to shoot for goals. It's always great to aspire to achieve and be at the top of the game. And in general, I would say with accessories categories, which I know is still a very common term, one that I reject personally, but that's just me. There are very few ways for a retailer to evaluate the sales aggressiveness of their RSAs. Because in the end of the day, Alex, if you own a mattress store and the word mattress is in the title of your business, it's not far stretched to sell a mattress to a customer that's coming into your store. But are they adding on a category like sheets? That is how a proprietor, a regional manager, an area manager can evaluate the sales aggressiveness of their RSAs in order for them to ensure that the customer is absolutely leaving the store with everything that they're going to need in terms of compatibility, increasing comfort. And I think that where it starts, where retailers can make some pretty good progress, is simply just putting some goals to shoot for and talking about it. Maybe it's a 60-second topic in a Saturday morning meeting. Maybe you have a captain in the category that periodically sends out motivational communications as far as best practices, how to overcome objections, things of that nature. Just talking about it and not letting it slide, I think would be a big, big help.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in that vein, I also want to bring up something that you mentioned to me at one of the recent Las Vegas markets, which you were telling me a story about a retailer that came in and they weren't sure if they needed, the sheets that you were selling, and they ended up going back to their, employees, and their employees said, "Hey, everybody needs these." And there
Mhm.
was that kind of disconnect there. So I think, as much as you need to get the message across to RSAs, the store owners need to listen to what the RSAs hear directly from the customers, because that all goes back to, the whole ecosystem of the store.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you brought that up because sometimes there is that disconnect. I see it frequently. And, trying to do the best that we can at DreamFit is obviously through our messaging. But at the end of the day, when you have that disconnect between whoever is responsible for merchandising, whoever the buyer is, if there's not that cross communication all the way drilled down to subjects that might not necessarily be at the forefront of their mind, like sheets. Obviously, if you're a mattress retailer, the mattress is your bread and butter item. That's why you're in business and your focus is going to be there. But having even detailed conversations with your RSAs, you may be able to uncover vulnerabilities in your business. And you brought up an excellent point. I know exactly where we're going with this. Adjustable bases. You mentioned the proliferation of those. Depending on who you ask in our industry, they would say attachment rates are anywhere from 27%. I've heard 32%. Some of my retailers are telling me that they're above 50% attachment rates. So after the purchase, is that customer calling and they might not necessarily be upset with their purchase, but do you have any trick to keep your sheets on these mattresses because they keep popping off? Every time I adjust my bed, it pops off. Anytime I shit during sleep at 1:30 in the morning because I'm now at a 30-degree incline, it pops off. What's your trick for that? And if there's not that cross communication between the RSA and the executive buyer, then that problem is not solved in a lot of cases. So that's one of the reasons we're very aggressive with that message because we're trying to help overcome any potential disconnects that might exist within that retailer.
Yeah, I love that. That really stuck with me. So I want to switch really quick before we go. You sent me a couple of statistics. So, I think the ones that stand out, kind of related to what we were just talking about, 99% of people use sheets. So different from adjustable bases where not everybody uses them, not everybody thinks that they need them. Everybody uses sheets. So that's a pretty powerful one to me. And then, the 75% of mattress buyers purchase new sheets with the mattress or within days. So, what can the industry take away from this kind of data, and how can they use it in an actionable way to increase sales or help their sales associates or just, succeed?
The reason I've shared these statistics is because, for anybody that's watching, and thank you for watching, by the way, just a couple of things to bear in mind just to raise some initial urgency in the sheets category. Maybe it's gone months, if not ever, since sheets was actually a talking point in a meeting. And these five statistics, which kind of segue down as you go, they decrease in number. They all are specifically to raise urgency in sheets as a category and why they should not be allowed to be let slide. So the 99.7%, to be exact, of the consumers, according to the National Sleep Foundation, use sheets. And the retailer should look at that as the biggest takeaway there is everybody that comes into my store is a candidate for the category. So it's incumbent upon me to show this category. 80% of the consumers that purchase bedding linens, they would prefer to touch and feel before they purchase. That is important because the female consumer that's purchasing this category, she wants to be able to know what she's getting herself into. And at that point, how am I merchandising? Am I giving that shopper the ability to do that in my store? 75%, as you had just said, mattress buyers, 75% of mattress buyers purchase new sheets with the mattress or within days. There's a couple reasons for that, Alex. It could be that particular consumer, they want to press the reset button. They want to start anew when it comes to their sleep experience, or it could simply be that what they have at home does not work with the new mattress that they've purchased. So at that point, are they purchasing a shed of sheets at the point of purchase with the mattress? Or are they realizing that after the fact and they're going into an unaided selling environment later, be it a department store, a big box retailer, et cetera? And then 70%, this is important because the National Sleep Foundation estimates that 70% of people make their beds every morning. So what you have there, Alex, is you have a lot of interaction with a product. At that point, what tangible attributes of that product in terms of wow factors is that customer interacting with, and are they building brand loyalty? Because here's the truth. If you ask your average person on the street what brand of sheets they use, they don't even know, right? It doesn't even occur to them what brand of sheets that they're using, but they may, in most cases, very well remember where they bought them. So I get this frequently. I'll ask somebody, what kind of sheets do you use? What brand? I have no idea. Well, where'd you buy them last? Oh, I bought them at Costco. Oh, so you're using the Kirkland brand? Oh, yeah, that's it. Otherwise, they don't even know. And then 30% adjustable base attachment rate. This is where we kind of round it off, Alex. This is where, because there are specific sheets that are out there on the market in terms of compatibility that address that adjustable base concern and ensure the customer they're not going to worry about their sheets not staying on these mattresses. That's a really nice benchmark. So any retailers that are out there that are kind of wondering to themselves, what should my attachment rate be? Well, a lot of them are tracking their adjustable base attachment rate, and that's a very good way to start tracking the category because there are products that are out that are very easy to present. As if to say to Mrs. Customer, because you're buying this particular bed, these are sheets that are specifically designed to be compatible for that bed. And
Mhm.
that 30% is a nice way to gauge where your attachment rate should be if you're not tracking your sheets category attachment rates at all.
Yeah, definitely. Super interesting stuff. Well, that's all I had for today, Chris. I think this is a really cool subject that everybody should keep discussing. And I love how much you've been pushing it, Chris. So keep going.
Well, Alex, thank you very much for helping us with our mission. 2024 is the year the mattress specialty retail raises their A game in sheets. And thank you very much for being part of that. And I really appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, man. You take it
Yep.
easy.